Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Bitcoin and Ethereum have broken below these ascending lines of support on the daily time frame, they are also running into other key levels of support here in the shorter term, which I'll talk more about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and as I said in my last video, we've seen a break to the downside in the Bitcoin price and in the daily Bitcoin RSI. But since my last video, this break to the downside has now been confirmed with a daily candle close, which is actually what we needed to see for both the price action and the RSI on the daily time frame. Because without that daily candle close, for all we know, we could have just had another candle wick to the downside and close back above. But once again, now that we've seen that daily candle close, technically speaking, this bearish break has now been confirmed in both the price and the RSI. And as I've been saying almost every day over the last 1 month or so, while the daily Bitcoin RSI remains above this ascending line of support, we're still basically in this pause from the larger bearish trend, so we shouldn't really be expecting any significant bearish price action while the RSI holds above this line of support. But obviously, now that we've broken below that line of support, this is actually a bearish signal telling us that we are potentially resuming the larger bearish trends that we've seen over the last year or so. And so basically, while we're seeing signals like this on the daily Bitcoin chart, I would remain somewhat cautious at the moment because we do technically have some more downside risk on the daily time frame with signals like this showing up. And now, if you zoom into the shorter term, this right here is the 4-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart. And as I also said in my last video, technically the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI was approaching oversold territories, but since my last video, it did actually enter into oversold territories. And just as that happened, we saw a small bounce in the shorter term, which obviously is expected with the RSI entering into oversold, because when we're oversold, that means we've gone to the downside too much too fast, and we need a little bit of time to at least reset the RSI with a bit of a short-term relief, which can either be in the form of some choppy sideways price action or a slight bullish relief like that, for example. And in terms of support and resistance, obviously we still have resistance right here sitting at around 17.3k to 17.4k, and now we could have a bit of short-term resistance at around 16.9k, considering the price has technically broken below that level, and previously 16.9k has acted as some shorter-term support, and usually when we break below support, that flips into new resistance. And as for support levels, we could have a bit of support right here at around 16.7k approximately based on this previous low. But if the price of Bitcoin starts confirming breaks below around 16.7, 16.6k, then the next significant support area on this 4-hour time frame is down here at around 16.1k to 16.2k. But once again, we will likely need a bit of time in the imminent short term, perhaps over the next day or so, where the RSI needs to reset a little bit because we're still very close to oversold territories. And in terms of the shorter term trend, with the price actually breaking below these previous lows over the last 1 day, this has technically made the short term trend more bearish rather than neutral or obviously bullish at all. Because in my last video, I said while the price of Bitcoin remains above this area right here and above these previous lows, then technically we could still be remaining somewhat neutral in the short term while we're in that choppy sideways price range. But once again, since yesterday, the price has actually formed a lower low, which is a bearish formation, telling us that we're forming a bit more of a short-term bearish trend. And in that case, once again, if this bearish trend continues in the short term, then we're likely heading towards those low $16,000 areas. But once again, even though that might be the case, we still need a little bit of time in the imminent short term to help reset this RSI, because we are still very close to oversold territories as of right now. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this right here is the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and obviously over the last 1 day, we've also seen a daily candle close with the price well below this ascending line of support right here, and also with the daily Ethereum RSI below its ascending line of support, now confirmed with a daily candle close. And this basically basically means the exact same as what I said earlier in this video about Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Once again, this is simply a bearish signal telling us that we could be about to resume the larger bearish trends that we've seen over the last 1 year or so, after having this 1 month period where we basically paused the larger bearish trend. And now if you zoom into the shorter term, this right here is the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, as of recording this video, with the price also breaking below this level of support at around 12.20, as I mentioned in my last video, it's head straight down to this next level of support, which was sitting at around 11.50 to 11.60. And already we've seen a short-term bounce from that exact level of support. And of course, this short-term bounce is not only because we're running into a bit of support here, but also because the 4-hour Ethereum RSI is currently in oversold territories, which means we've gone to the downside too far, too fast in the imminent short term, and we need a little bit of time in the imminent short term to potentially reset, which once again can play out in the form of either some choppy sideways price action or a slight bullish relief, like a bounce from support, for example. But overall, in terms of the short-term trend right now, obviously the price of ETH is in a short-term bearish trend because we already have confirmed lower lows, and of course with the price breaking below this key level of support was another short-term bearish signal for the trend. But despite the price of ETH being in a short-term bearish trend, this still doesn't change the fact that the RSI is still very close to oversold territories, and we still need to see a little bit of time here in the imminent short term where the price needs to either stabilize or have a slight relief to help reset the RSI and perhaps continue lower later on. Because this also of course happens in a bullish trend where the price is trending to the upside, and obviously the price does not go in a straight line, so we have some time period where the RSI enters into overbought territories and we need a bit of a short-term cool off before potentially continuing higher later on. We're basically at that stage right now, but in the opposite trend. We're in a short-term bearish trend and we need to see a bit of a short-term relief to help reset this RSI. And in terms of support and resistance, right now we have resistance at around 12.20 to 12.40, and we also have resistance at around 12.80 up towards around 13.20. So a lot of resistance in this range right here. And as for support, once again, we have this short-term support level at around 11.50 to 11.60. But if the price confirms a break below 11.50, then the next area of support is sitting at around 10.70 to 10.80 approximately. And now, believe it or not, but even when the price is dumping, we can still actually profit big from crypto. And if you want to know how to do that, then check out these videos popping up right here on your screen, especially the video in the top left, because that shows you how to make money in crypto if the price is going either up or down, and the video in the bottom left shows you how to make money in crypto if the price is chopping around sideways. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.